Like I kind of, I don't know. I like just try things for me. Like right now I'm taking a sober cleanse.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just trying not to drink. And that's just like a trial and an error thing. I just like, you know, I didn't know how it was going to feel at first because I was like, I don't think I've taken even a week off drinking since I like started stand up.
Really?
I don't think so. Maybe a week. And then I was like,
and I only say that just because I've had moments in my life where I'm drinking a lot and I'm like, I need to fucking stop.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, not in a I'm going to kill myself or somebody else way, but just in like, yeah, I'm not feeling great drinking all these beers every day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to stop, take a week off, see how I feel. So I'm surprised just now you're doing that.
Like I've done it before where I've had a really gnarly hangover and I just go like, all right, no drinks tonight. And I take like a night off and like I could throw a parade for myself how proud I am of just like, oh wow, I did not drink last night. And now I've earned to myself another 14 vodka sodas tonight. Like that was kind of how I'd look at it in the past. This time is the first time where I'm like, we're doing a month. We're doing a fucking month.
How's it been?
And it's been great. I feel great. I really do.
And welcome to Tyler Is Groce Podcast, where me, a comedian, talks to successful friends about, everything. Growth, self-improvement, life, wellness. Where are you at right now so that I can beat them in what they're doing? How you gonna get better than your friends if you don't know where they're at? And today we figured out where Andrew Murphy was at. The GOAT. Funniest person in Austin, the reigning champ. He won the contest, the Austin's Funniest Person in Austin contest in 2019. Then a pandemic prevented anyone else from coming in and taking a spot. And now he's on my podcast and we're talking about shit. Mostly anger. A lot of anger, a lot of quitting stuff to cutting the bad stuff out of your life to make your life better. And that's what Andrew talked a lot about. And it was a fun episode. He got into it and he told stories and he was funny and interesting. And really, I feel like he really captured what it's like to feel the emotions that he was talking about, whether it was anxiety, anger, whatever it is. He'll get into it and check it out. But it was a good one. Appreciate him coming on, man. You can see him everywhere. At @shutup_Murphy is his Instagram. That's where he posts all his shows. He's got Joke of Painting show somewhere. He's got another show at another place. I don't remember all the shows. He's got too much stuff going on. He will be at FPIA at Cap City Comedy Club in Austin, Texas. He's hosting because he won. He's hosting all the nights. So just go and see the show. You can come see me on September 6th. I'm going to be doing FPIA, as well as on August 27th. That's where I'm having my show, Tyler and Friends at Fallout Theater. Go check it out. You can go on my website. I got all my show dates and shit. You can check that out. You can like and subscribe on this podcast. We're up to 139 subscribers. We're fucking crushing it. And we're having fun doing it. I got a Patreon. Please go throw me some dollars. I got a PayPal. If you just one time $1. But there you go, Tyler. We love the thing. Do the goddamn thing, or you can just sit back and enjoy this episode. It's gonna be a good one. August 27th is the big one though at Fallout Theater at 10 p.m. Come check me out. I'm gonna have some friends doing some stand-up comedy. It'll be fun. But in the meantime, enjoy Andrew Murphy. And just keep on enjoying your lives, people. Your lives. All right, and welcome to the button. No, that's not happening.
Oh, man, I was ready, dude. I love it.
If only that's how I did this shit. Oh
yeah, we're back.
And now we're here. Welcome on. Come on in. Such a slow. I'm like, we're just here. We're hanging out. I'm getting a beer. Hey, how we going, everybody?
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Hey, go ahead and like and comment and subscribe.
Go ahead and subscribe right down there.
Oh, you just got back from FPIA. Mm-hmm. That was good. And hosting's fun.
No, it's not fun, dude.
I'm like, how real are you gonna be?
No, were you listening to what I said? It was not, not good.
Okay. I'm like, you a little loud.
It's kind of a chore, but they pay really well, and it's fun to just go see. But it's not a good hang because everyone's nervous, so it's just awkward the whole time. Like I'm trying to talk to people before. I'm like, don't say the wrong thing.
Yeah, you can't even like fuck her. You can be like, hey, don't bomb. It's like, why would you fuck? Why would
I
you
know.
do this?
I can't say anything.
Why would you do this? It's the funniest person in Austin, by the way. It's contest in time. Yeah, no. And how many times because you won in 2019?
I won, 2019.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
I was
man.
gone. How was that?
Oh, it was fine.
I remember I texted you. I was like, "Congrats, man."
Yeah,
And
I
said,
remember that.
Thanks.
I remember that specifically, man. That got me through the day. I was already struggling. You know?
Yeah, that's what's up. I remember whenever Enzo won years ago, and he was on the podcast Ariel, Jared McCorkle.
Okay.
Leading the Blind.
Sure.
Remember that one?
You could have said anything. I would have been like, yep.
That podcast where they like talk to people who were a little bit ahead to ask advice on how to get on in comedy.
Yeah.
And it was like, and so do you feel like how do you feel like after you won? Funniest person in Austin. He was like, the same.
Yeah.
I feel the same. Do you feel like you're leveled up in your career? No.
It doesn't make like a substantial dent in the major story of your entire life. You know, it's like a cool thing.
I think it seems cool.
But like, because like people ask me now, they're like, how does it feel? I'm like, that was 3 years ago. I don't know. It feels.
Hey, think of the best thing that happened to you 3 years ago and tell me how you feel about that.
And then think of just the sea of shit you've had to deal with. Just the waves and waves of bullshit that has just been consistently happening. Yeah. You know, life goes on. That's a very cynical way to look at it. Overall, cool experience.
Is your face in cap?
My face is on the flyer for the contest.
So your picture's not up? That was the most.
Oh, it is up. It is up on the wall.
That would be the most. I mean, you know, I do it for the love, but I got an ego as well.
Oh, I do it for the plaque, baby.
I'm like, I want my name up there.
I want the square.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm trying some new shit. I'm still figuring out what I want the podcast to be.
Okay.
And I remember I was talking because I talked to Jared McCorkle a lot about my podcast, and he's sort of a behind the scenes consultant guy, and I was like, who do you think I should get on that could do what I want to do? And he was like, Murphy.
Oh, did he say that? Oh,
like, Murphy.
Thanks, J Mac.
Hey, J Mac.
I haven't talked to you in years, and I feel bad now.
Nah, it's fine.
I should reach out more often.
He's good. He's in Georgia. He more or less quit comedy.
Okay, that's the dream right there.
You know, it's either make it or quit as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I'm stuck doing it now. I can't quit now.
Do you feel that way?
Oh, I'm too deep.
Yeah.
Like I'll always do it in some capacity.
When do you think you were like, fuck, I'm stuck with this?
26, 27, like when I was like 6 years in.
But
it's just like it was like, you know, I'm good enough at it that it's not it'd feel weird to quit, but I'm also not exactly where I want to be.
Right.
So it's like it feels like there's still some ground to cover. I don't know. It's just like a weird place to be in. It's almost like if I was more successful, I'd feel more comfortable just quitting. You know, if I got like a special out and people like to be like, later, I did what I wanted to accomplish.
That's interesting. I mean, it speaks to what you want to get out of this. Because everyone's doing it. There's so many comics doing shit all the time. And like we texted, it's not going to be all about comedy, but there's people doing it all the time. And it's like, you think everyone's like you, but everyone's kind of doing it for different reasons. Yeah. Not everyone's really trying to like, I'm gonna make it. Not everyone's really doing it. Some people are just like, I would love to run a show in town. Yeah. And have friends.
There's endless circumstances that bring people to this wacky, wild industry where, you know, like it's just unpredictable.
Yeah.
Buckle up for the ride. But yeah, it's like a lot of people are doing it because it's like, oh, I thought it would look fun to do.
Right.
You know, my office mates said I can
lost
sling a joke or two. And then some people are like, I'm doing this because I just got out of prison and it's the only thing I'm allowed to do anymore. Yeah. You know, like it's so wild, like the variation of reasons.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody who started at like 32, let's say. And he was saying, I think I'm better because like I started later because I had life experience and a perspective and blah, blah, blah. And I was saying, but whenever you start when you're young, like, because I started at 22 and you started at 20, it sounds like.
Yeah.
It becomes a part of who you are.
Right.
It becomes a part of your identity.
Your brain's not done growing.
And then suddenly you slip in comedian and you slip in bars at 10 p.m. doing 3 minutes, rubbing elbows with people 20 years older than you, smoking cigarettes. Yeah. Who like you look up to. It's like you should not look
they're
up.
Your buddies.
Yeah.
The diversity of like friendships is one of the cooler things about doing it. Where it's just like, I hang out with people doing this that I would never just like naturally hang out in any other walk of life. You know, it's like some big fat guy in his 50s and we're like buds, you know? I'm like, this is my friend Mike. I don't want to name someone.
Some big fat piece of shit guy.
I'm talking about Mike,
you know, my good
friend. He's in shape, and I think
he looks great.
He's actually like 40 or something.
Yeah, he's a working comic.
Yeah, you know, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about big fat Mike.
Yeah, dude, it's a whole thing. Cause like I feel like I'm in this at this point, and I've been doing it for like 7 years now. I feel like I'm in this to, I mean, there is the ego of like, yo, where's the lights? Put my name in it. Like there's that part of it for sure. But I think the deeper part of it is like self-expression, self-actualization, like playing a game and trying to win in a game. You gotta win. You gotta play some kind of game. And so like this is a fun game to play, and it has meaning for me, and it has artistic and creative merit, and it's cool, and but it's really I feel like I got something I'm trying to get out.
Sure.
And it's like I don't have, you know, I'm 29. I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm starting to see the shape of what I want to do, or see the shape of like having the maturity, having the perspective to really communicate what I want to communicate, and the skill and the talent. That just takes time to communicate what I want to communicate. I'm just getting there. Why are you? What are you doing?
Why am I doing it?
Why are you doing it?
Shit, I don't know, man. It's all I know, man. It's my manna. It's my bread and butter. No, I do it because it's fun. Like when people ask, I'm just like, I don't overthink it. It's fun. That's why I'll never stop doing it. Like when it stops completely being fun in any way, I'll just stop. But you're always gonna get something out of it. You know, even there's like nights where I'm just like, I don't want to do this. Honestly, today I kind of felt like that. I had a show. I was off today, and I couldn't have fun doing anything because I just all day I was like, I gotta go do this show. Yeah. Like at some point I'm gonna have to.
FPIA or something else.
It was the show at it was FPIA at Cap, and you know, like that's a fun show and everything in its own right.
I'm sure it was like hot crowd.
Hot crowd. You know, there's no reason on paper that I shouldn't be excited, but I just couldn't focus on anything. It was like noon, and I was like, I can't start doing that. I got a thing.
During COVID, when we didn't have that.
Yeah.
And it was like there was no shows tonight. There were no shows in the near future. It was like, oh, is this what life could be? Just okay? Just relaxing and not
having a full day, like nothing on the calendar. Yeah. That's like drugs to me now. Yeah. You know, maybe I'm just getting old and I'm just like, I love to like put my pajamas on at 8. Yeah. You know, and I'm like, I'm going to be up for a few hours, but let's get ready. Yeah. Let's hunker down. You know, I'm like making like tea for myself and I'm like flipping through Netflix. That is exhilarating to me when I just know full day, nothing going on.
It's good. It's you can fucking relax. You can like you don't have to, because when there's a show, it's like your mind's sort of always, you're kind of doing the show 1,000 times in your head before the show, even if it's subconscious. You're just like watching TV. You're like, and then I say the punchline, and it's like it's always sort of there.
For me, it's like the getting to the show. For me, it's just the act of going somewhere is so exhausting to me. Like it's weird because when I actually get to the thing, it's like it's not just stand up. It's like parties or like social events, anything where I kind of have to be on my shit, even if it's the most fun thing ever. Like the hardest part is just like, oh man, I have to stop just like farting around and actually like put pants on and like brush my teeth and get in the car and like, you know.
You anxious?
It's the Are you
an anxious guy?
That's what it is, dude. It's
you got anxiety.
It's the little.
Are you one of these cool hip Austinites with anxiety and depression?
I have guilty.
Hell yeah,
I have clinical depression.
Man.
My favorite joke premise: just listing your mental illnesses. You know. And then but like, I have some slight anxiety. It's not so much that I'm just like clamming up at just the thought of doing anything. Yeah. It's more just like, it's like the very minuscule form of dread. You know, dread's a big scary word. It's not like I'm sitting there just like, fuck, you know, but like, it's just that feeling of like, at some point my night will no longer be mine. I think that's what it boils down to.
I mean, you're giving it up.
Yeah.
You're giving it up to the people. You have to perform. You have to perform.
Yeah.
You have to be on.
But anything, like it could be a friend's birthday party where it's like,
but that's still, you gotta be on.
You gotta be on. I can't just go there and just like not talk to anybody, shut down.
Do you feel that way when you just go to a friend's house and it's like, I'm going to Big Fat Mike piece of shit's house.
Dude,
oh
when
my
I go to Fat Mike's house, I'm like,
bro,
I better dress down for this, you know? This guy's disgusting.
If you're hanging out with Fat Mike, it's like, this is gonna be. I don't mind that. It's gonna be a decent night.
Big fat sweaty Mike, you kidding me?
Yeah.
But no, like I guess with that it's a little less, but I still feel it, man. I still feel that feeling of just like I can't. But it's anything that's not just being alone, just being by yourself.
Are you an introvert?
I guess I don't like to do the whole. I don't like to.
Are you an ENFT, Jay?
I'm an IF. I'm an IBM C to the Z squared. I don't know. Like, I guess I guess I could say I'm an introvert, but I enjoy being extroverted.
Sure, yeah.
Here's the thing. You leave those things, the things that I dread going to, it's all the act of getting there. Once I'm there, and then once I leave, I'm like, I'm glad I fucking did that. I'm there. I'm like, I'm glad I'm here.
What is that? What is in you that's making you not wanna?
It's the switch. It's the switch from having complete control over your domain to then letting others in the mix.
Yeah. I feel like my anxiety, maybe just the nature of anxiety is that it is uncertainty.
Right.
Like if you don't know what's going to happen when you get to the party. So and you can't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to drink and talk to people, but like, what's going to happen? What am I going to say? What are they going to say?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing is like the thing that's like, all right, here you go. And then once you're in it, there's no future. The next thing is leaving, and it's like, well, I know what's gonna happen then. I'm gonna drive home, put on my favorite fucking Steve Lacy album, and listen to it.
There's this like Larry David bit that he did. I think it was because he doesn't really do stand up anymore, but he was doing a set on SNL one of the times he hosted, and it's like one of my favorite premises ever, and it's so relatable. Where he just goes, "I never want to be where I am. As soon as I'm somewhere, get me the fuck out of there." Like he just kind of explain, and it's like. It's so relatable to me.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the company. It has nothing to do with the environment. It's just like the people who are able to just live moment to moment.
Yeah.
They're just like, right now I am eating a salad and I am watching a show. And whatever happens outside of this radius of time, not my concern. That is like magic to me. I do not know how people do that.
I think that's few people.
Right, I guess.
I think it's few people.
That's probably people who do like transcendental meditation.
I mean, I try to meditate, and for me, like I get to a place of I'm meditating where it's like, I'm still thinking about the things, but I'm like, oh, look at him thinking about the things. I'm I'm just one step away from it, so it's still happening, but I'm just a little bit away from it.
Right. Mm-hmm. I think stupid people can really live in the moment.
Yeah.
And I don't even say that derogatory. I mean, God bless him.
I mean, listen, big fat stupid piece of shit, Mike.
Fucking
I mean,
stupid ass Mike.
You can eat a sandwich and he will comment on the sandwich.
Oh, he'll be talking. He'll probably want a fucking bite too, and his dumbass kids will want a little snippet as well once they come in.
Oh man.
I'm trying to live more like the stupid Mikes of the world.
Yeah.
Because they just go moment to moment. They're like, this is fun. I'm doing this right now. They don't overthink every single thing of the day. I feel like I'm coming off like a real jagged, hot mess.
No, I think you're just. We're talking about anxiety. This is what anxiety is.
It is. It's the definition
Everyone
of
feels
anxiety.
it. It's just. It's like a ghost. It possesses everybody at some point, and this is what it's like.
And it's not this like. That's the thing is like the comics you kind of alluded to who are just like so proud of their anxiety, like it's this huge disorder that's this all-encompassing thing. I've never felt that way about it either.
Yeah, and I think we're lucky on that. I think they probably
do
really feel that way, but then we're like, I guess.
Yeah, or they're just like trying to sound more important than they are. You know, like they're just. But like, there's obviously people who have way worse disorders than us. But yeah, like it's never ruins my life either. It's just like annoying. There's just like a lot of annoying moments throughout my day where I'm like, I gotta go do the thing. I gotta fucking, it's like fun things, and I'm just like, I gotta get gas and then go to the thing. I mean, how many steps are there to this thing?
It's like, do I have to go get my dick sucked right now? Do I have to do this?
I gotta go speak at the blowjob convention. Man, I forgot. I gotta do 10 minutes or less, depending on how far along their process they are. This is a hypothetical convention
The
where
blowjob
I go
convention,
speak, and that just means getting my dick sucked for 10 minutes in front of a crowd.
So the premise of the podcast, as you know.
Oh, that was just all the preamble?
This is preamble.
Cool.
The premise of the podcast is, because I'm telling you, I'm trying new shit. I'm trying to see how to make this work, where to go. Talking to my successful friends about, growth and self-improvement and all of that. And so what's your relationship with that sphere of things? I think for me, whenever I was little, I remember my dad gave me like the 7 habits for highly successful people.
Oh yeah.
And there was like a kid's version where it had like pictures and shit, and he was like, you should read this. And I was like, I don't know why.
That's like one of the 10 books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just one of the 10
But it was
books.
like a kid's version. And my dad gave it. Why would I read a book my dad gave me about 7 highly successful habits or whatever? Yeah. But for some reason I read it and it just resonated. And I feel like from then on, I think it got into me like, oh, I can like read books and like learn shit and like be better for it. And like I've continued that to this day. So do you have anything like that? Or
I feel like I just do stuff that feels right for me. And then I just look at the results. Like I've never been able to like read a book and go like, oh, they tried that, let me try that too. Mm-hmm. Like I've never been able to go on a diet. I've never been able to like
you look
do
great.
a self-help thing. Thanks, buddy.
You don't need a diet.
A skincare routine would be nice. But I'm still working on that. I can't just formulate that on my own. I might need an expert on that one. That's where the rubber meets the road on that. But like I kind of, I don't know. I like just try things for me. Like right now, I'm taking a sober cleanse.
Yeah.
I'm just trying not to drink. And that's just like a trial and error thing. I just like, I didn't know how I was going to feel at first because I was like, I don't think I've taken even a week off drinking since I like started stand up.
Really?
I don't think so. Maybe a week. And then I was like,
and I only say that just because I've had moments in my life where I'm drinking a lot and I'm like, I need to fucking stop.
Yeah.
Not in a I'm going to kill myself or somebody else's way, but just in like, I'm not feeling great drinking all these beers every day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to stop, take a week off, see how I feel. So I'm surprised just now you're doing that.
I've done it before where I've had a really gnarly hangover and I just go like, all right, no drinks tonight. And I take like a night off and like I could throw a parade for myself, how proud I am of just like, oh, wow, I did not drink last night. And now I've earned to myself another 14 vodka sodas tonight. Like that was kind of how I'd look at it in the past. This time is the first time where I'm like, we're doing a month. We're doing a fucking month.
How's it been?
And it's been great. I feel great. I really do. To the point where I'm like,
what's the difference?
Damn, should I just do this full time?
I think that's why all these motherfucking comics, when they start getting money and shit, and they're like, oh yeah, I can just not do that. And I can just like hang out with my wife.
Right.
And just like, I don't need a drink anymore.
Yeah. Sometimes boring is not the worst thing you can describe your life as,
Man, dude, that alone hits me because I realize a lot of this shit is chasing excitement.
Yeah.
A lot of it is like, isn't that an exciting thing? Isn't it so exciting to, you see all these motherfuckers who are like, Rogan's in town. He's going on private jets and doing this. He has big podcasts and all these people coming in. It's like, man, that's got to be exciting.
Yeah.
But if you just go home and there's nobody, like if you have nothing, if you don't have the boring shit to support the exciting shit, I think you just implode.
There is a certain point of the day when you're not drinking where you just go, all right, I'm good. Let's let's hit the metaphorical 15-second ahead button until we get to Tuesday. I'm good on Monday. Like there's nothing else. That is like a weird feeling, but it's kind of just like a phantom limb type thing. You just get used to it. I felt like I'd get used to it after like 5 days. Where I eventually.
I like to embrace it. I like to embrace, like, because whenever I moved in here, first time I lived alone in a minute, and I was just alone, and it was like, I was coming back to Austin. It was just opening up from COVID, and I was like, I don't need to hit the mics like I used to. I can pump the brakes on that. People in the scene, they remember me. And I was like, let me just take tonight off. And I'm just here alone. I'm like, fuck, this is awful. This is really bad. But then I was like, just be bored. Just embrace the boredom. And what do you do when you're bored? Fucking keep watching TV. Just keep going.
I feel like drinking, a lot of it, sometimes it's just organically great. Like, I want to put that out there. There are times where it's just like,
hey, kids.
Wow,
kids, don't forget. It's your parents say don't do it, but it is.
Don't not drink. I mean, that shit rules. And you will get laid by someone out of your league every once in a great while.
Leffe. Organically great. That's what it is. What is Leffe?
Yeah. Get a French beer so you feel a little bit classier while you're destroying
I thought it
your
was
future.
Shiner, but...
Oh, yeah. It's I thought it was too, man.
That's what she told me. Anyway.
I like the hand. I like when they make the what's it called? The neck of it look special.
Like what? This one looks special?
Yeah, it's got like that little like champagne, like little
the
crinkly
aluminum?
golden wrapping on it.
Yeah, blonde.
Yeah, that makes me feel like I'm doing something. But yeah, no, I like sometimes drinking rules, but like a lot of the time it's just like you trying to reclaim that one time you drank and it ruled, and you're not getting the same results. And then it just kind of goes off the rails, and then you get next day you're like, I have a hangover and I didn't have that much fun last night. I think when I have 2 or 3 of those nights in a row, that's when I'm like, all right, let's take a little break.
Yeah.
Like, we're not getting anything out of this.
Yeah.
We're spending money just to have a headache and send a text or two that you're like, oh, that was weird.
I feel like it's a growing up thing.
Yeah.
It's just like not even getting older and like, oh, I can't, I can't do the hangovers anymore. It's like, just like, it's not exciting. It's not new anymore.
Yeah.
We just know what it's going to get into. And, I don't know.
Yeah. Life doesn't have to be a high octane thrill ride every second. You can just get off at a stop a little bit earlier than everyone else and go, oh, I'm good. And you'll feel fine.
So you've never thought about, you just trial and error, I'm going to try some shit. When is like a time in your life when you feel like when you were in it and you were like, oh shit, I'm growing up. I'm growing, I'm changed. This is going to change me. Like I'm going to come out of this a different person. Like,
oh, you mean like when I've changed a habit or something, or adapted a new
I don't
thing?
know. Like I know whenever I went to Amsterdam, and I went there and I was like, this is gonna be a big one.
Right.
This is gonna be a big thing. Usually for me, it's something big. It's like the transition from like high school to college, or college to work and whatever. Or I feel like that year in Amsterdam felt like 2 years. Like it was just all this shit. I was having all these experiences and all this shit, and I came out like I feel like I went into it like a kid and came out like I went into it like, oh my God, comedy in Amsterdam, this is great. And I came out of it like, these motherfuckers, you got to watch your back out there, man. Like, you gotta be, it's
you're
like
Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon 3 or 4.
It sort of changed me, or I learned something that made me feel like I grew up or changed my perspective or something. So
yeah, I see what you mean. I think quitting things always does that. Like quitting something that is not effective and that was only you kind of like come to realize like I do this all the time. Am I just doing it all the time because it's the only thing I know to do?
Yeah. When have you had that? Drinking? Anything else?
Drinking, smoking cigarettes. Like I quit smoking cold turkey, and it was just like this feeling of I just kind of had to adapt this mindset of like, don't think of quitting as a bad thing. Forget the cigarettes thing. Like think of the concept of quitting, because like I feel like our society, is very like anti-quit.
What do you mean?
It's just everything is so like you gotta stick with it. You gotta stay on.
No one's saying that about smoking, though.
Well,
you think?
You're right, but like you can apply the idea of quitting smoking. It's like quitting this thing that's like kind of rotting your brain. It's deteriorating your health and your soul and all this stuff. You can apply that to a lot of stuff that people wouldn't even think of. I mean, look, I think some people should quit comedy, And
y'all don't know that's a big statement.
Oh,
dude, that's a tough statement.
You watching right now?
Dude,
quit that shit.
Quit. Stop. You're not gonna make it. Hey, Tyler, when you're watching this in the future, hey, you're not gonna make it, son. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, you need to hear it, man.
You heard it from Andrew and yourself first.
We should put this in a time capsule and open it in like a month or something and be like, yeah, you're right. I should stop doing this. But I don't know. I just mean like the grind, the hustle, the stick with it every day. Those are good values sometimes, but also like if sticking with something because you think it's helping you maintain this one goal is ruining all of these other things around you, then maybe you should quit that thing, And like,
Have you ever been in that situation where you're doing something that's like fucking up everything?
Well, so I have like stopped doing stand up for like periods of time. I've never done it with the intent of like, I'm done for good. I've always thought like, I'm going to come back to it at some point. But I took like a few months off like earlier this year. I kind of was like, I would do like a show when I was booked on it. But I'd go like 3 weeks, a month. I wouldn't do stand up and I felt fucking great.
Yeah.
I felt awesome. I was like, my week is my own. My nights are my own. it is great. It amazing for my mental health, you know. And then eventually I was like, time to do it again. But like,
so like with that experience of like, yo, I stopped doing this thing that I was doing all the time, and I feel great because of it. Like, how do you like? I mean, I guess that's what you're saying. You look at the culture, and the culture's like, go get it. You gotta succeed. You gotta be whatever. What do you make of that? Is that just all bullshit?
I think
I kind of think it's a lot of like, we don't all need to be doing that.
No, we don't need. Not everyone needs to be Michael Jordan.
Right.
Because Michael Jordan was amazing, but he was also like an asshole, and like his relationship suffered, and like
he got his dad murdered.
Yeah,
maybe from gambling, allegedly.
I think definitely. Yeah, it was his last dance for sure.
I didn't. They skipped that part in the Last Dance. They didn't say and his gambling debts murdered his father.
Well, they squashed it. There's a couple of people who were like, some people think that Michael Jordan's gambling debt killed his father. They address it in the documentary,
okay.
But it's just like a real quick, like, that's not. It's like a real, like, it's like a no animals were harmed.
And you know, I didn't know that before I watched Last Dance, and when I saw that, I was like, I believe the company line. Like, it just worked on me. I was like, man.
Every single piece of propaganda in that whole thing worked like a charm on me. I came out of it like, Michael Jordan's a good guy, and people weren't giving him a fair shake.
Why wouldn't they just kill him though?
Well, I don't know. I don't believe that for real, by the way. But
and then they killed my father, and I took that personally.
Yeah.
And I scored 400 points on the guy. He takes everything.
And we had a road game against the Hornets. Not really in the grand scheme of things that important. We had already clinched the 1 seed, but having had my dad just murdered, I did go out and score 52 points, and I dunked on one of the players' family. You know, like, he just was so elaborate. I found them after the game and had them pose for a picture under the basket, and then I posterized them because I took it personally. And we all just watched it like, you're the best, dude.
Man, you got it, man.
That's not at all a completely toxic
Hey, step
mindset.
up your game, Pippen.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be Scotties.
But the way he thinks is like how I feel like we try and push that into everyone.
Yeah, we glorify it. What happened to, he just wanted to work real hard so that he could be with his dad and his brother because they would kick him out if he wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
What happened? What's wrong with just giving your kid a hug and letting him play anyway? You know.
Right.
Where's that? Where's that on TV? Where's the last
subversive.
Hug, Andrew?
The last
Where's
hug.
the last hug?
Oh my God. Yeah, man. Well, my last hug was a couple weeks ago, honestly. It's been kind of lonely. But yeah, I don't know.
Answer my own and only my own. Oh boy.
I feel like because it's not subversive. It's not. You can't. There's no good Rolling Stones songs about calling it a night at 9 and getting a good rep. Yeah. It's not exciting to just live a good balanced life.
I mean, listen, I love J. Cole, but that song "Folding Clothes," it's not the best.
Is it? You have a?
Do you know that song?
Does he actually have one?
It's called "I Want to Fold Clothes with You. I Want to Make You Feel Good."
He's one of the corniest.
He said, what did he say? He said, "Oh fuck, what was the line?" It was one of those like, "Hey, swing and a miss, buddy." He almost got. It was like,
yeah.
You ever seen? I don't remember. It was like he used like the word kombucha or something. Like it was like that level of like, what are you doing?
Did he like make it into like a come in you?
No. It was just like, he's like, what y'all niggas know about kombucha from your girl? It wasn't that. What was it? God damn, I don't remember what it is. It was something like that.
Yikes.
But I mean, it was as good as it could have been done.
Yeah.
But the premise, hey, I love just staying home, folding clothes with my girl. It's like, yeah, that's not really going to pop in the clubs like that, man.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work. I mean, I think it only works when it's like a rapper who has just put out so many albums about killing people and selling drugs and fucking models. Mm-hmm. And then eventually he puts out like his like 444, you know, mm-hmm. like where he's just like, hey, I'm actually kind of just happy now with my wife and kids. But you gotta earn that album. Yeah. You know, you have to be interesting enough.
Yeah. And he did it right.
He did the right way.
It's a good album.
Yeah.
Talking about all the shit. Fuck, was it Kill Jay-Z? I love that song.
Kill Jay-Z.
The opener,
great.
I love that one. Yeah, obviously, the story of OJ.
Right.
It's a good one. Remember listening to rap? No,
yeah, I know. Back when it meant something.
No, listening to rap in the car on the way to New Orleans, man. That was a great time.
Oh, that was a fun trip, dude. New Orleans.
Yeah, dude,
we were passing the aux.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
And just playing hip hop songs from 2009 that everybody
great.
liked.
She'd be like, I remember this. And we're like, I do remember that. It's just the biggest song from 20 years ago. It's like, you remember this? Man.
Millie? Yeah, I remember it from 2 hours ago when we played it. But please.
Yeah, dude.
Pump that shit.
That's
yeah.
good shit.
No, but New Orleans, we went to New Orleans. Mm-hmm. Great example of the opposite end of the spectrum of what I'm talking about. Sometimes you got to let loose and do crazy, wild shit,
And you know what? I hated that trip. I really, really did not like that trip.
You didn't?
And I knew I wouldn't because I knew I was not in the space to do that.
I don't think any of us were.
Because first off, in the car, you give me the half of Adderall.
Oh yeah,
I took half of it, and I was like, okay, cool. And then it just never went down, and then we did some other stuff, and then I'm like, fucking I'm like, yo, I am not okay.
Yeah, that was a weird time. I do remember you having it was the first night you were just kind of like, I got to go splash some water on my face.
I did it over and over again, over again. I was like, I was not okay. And then what was the only cure? Just getting very drunk. That was the only cure to it, was to balance out the uppers.
I think we were a lot of us were in a weird space to be going to New Orleans. I was too broke to be going to New Orleans.
Really?
I'm already broke. I can't go. I'm going to just bleed money on this trip. But I think I had the same, mindset.
You have no reason you're like, but... they call me Murphy for a reason, son.
Shooters gotta shoot. You know what I mean? They're just trying to, hitters gotta hit, buddy. But yeah, I did the same thing you did, where I was like, just time to drink away my critical thinking skills.
That's all we did.
And then cut to the next night, I'm getting kicked out of a karaoke bar for stripping down to my underwear.
Yeah, I was wondering, is that a fun memory for you, or is that man,
not great.
It's not great. It's not a great. Do you tell it like it's a good story? Is it a good story that you tell, or is it you just
It's a fun story.
So you like the story, but
it's good to have a story come out of it. But it was one of those things I walked away from this is maybe becoming a little bit of an issue. But I think the drinking thing's not doing you any favors, because it was fun. But I had this,
and what happened exactly?
All right, we were at a karaoke. We went to this karaoke bar, biggest karaoke bar in New Orleans. Everyone's having a great time.
It was a great karaoke bar.
People are doing this thing where they didn't take their clothes off and they just went up and sang a song.
Yeah, I sang 1999 by Prince.
Yeah, and it was great.
Crushed.
People enjoyed it. And for some reason, my brain saw that and went, what the fuck is everyone doing keeping their clothes on? I got to pick a song and go up there in my boxers and sing it.
But the song was relevant. What was I don't know the song. What was
it was relevant. It wasn't like I was just going up doing, I want to dance with somebody or something like that. I wasn't going up doing the Bye Bye Miss American Pie in my skivvies.
Yeah.
No, it was What's My Age Again by Blink-182.
Oh, you gotta love them.
Iconic music video where they're streaking. And I remember watching that as a kid, just thinking wow, I would love to be doing this 30-year-old emulating this with a tenth of the money and fame that they have. And that's where and so I picked that song, and I remember just immediately the second my brain had the thought, it was just that is happening.
Yeah. How I didn't feel like we were that deep into the night. I didn't feel like we were
though, because we were just drinking all day.
Okay, fair enough. I think I was feeling terrible all day, so I wasn't drinking.
That's the thing, is it sneaks up when you day drink. When all you do is just wake up and drink. Your body's not telling you how drunk you are, because it's not there's not that switch over. It's just I
remember Hunter came over and he was like, "Yeah, man, I don't think Andrew should do it." And then I was like, "Honestly, I think it's a bad idea." And then you came up and you were like, "Hey, man, do you think I should do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, dog, do your thing, man. You got it."
You're like, I think he's gonna fucking ruin his whole reputation, dude. If you don't do this right now, you're a bitch. Okay, you're a total bitch. Yeah, I think this might end badly. I remember acting like it was something I had to do, which is just hilarious. I was talking to Hunter, I was nervous.
Yeah, you were like,
we're about to fucking, it's about to happen, man. 2 songs away. I was anxious about it.
You were almost gonna get away with it.
Yeah,
I mean, get away with just sing a song in your underwear, not a big deal.
Right.
I imagine I'm gonna say it was gonna kill.
I think it would have been fine. I think it would have been like, people would have been like, what the what? But like, it wouldn't have gotten the response that my drunk, delusional brain thought, which was that the roof was going to blow off the fucking place and people were going to carry me out on their shoulders.
Blink 182.
And I was genuinely doing it out of a place of love for Hunter, because I was like, again, this is all my drunk brain.
Right.
I don't agree with any of these.
This is for you. This is for you, Hunter.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta make your weekend one to remember, buddy. And he was the first person to be like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, he pulled me aside. He's like, just throwing this out there. You could not do this.
Yeah.
And I got like offended. I'm like, oh, you don't think I should fucking do this, do you? You think this is all a bad idea? And he's like, yeah. I was like, wow, okay. And then he was just like, all right, dude, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I stripped. Yeah, I got down to my undies, and I was
Just
like,
the undie. It was good pair of boxers, very classy.
yeah,
Very respectful. You weren't all over the place. You just took them off. You were standing there in the corner, respecting, waiting your turn in line.
The hogs stayed in the trough, the trough or whatever.
Yeah.
No hogs were shown. And I was like right next to the stage, and the DJ, I remember, looked back, like did a double take, like, and then just kind of looked me up and down, like, he made that face, just like, okay, you know. And then he came over to me again and just said, like, hey, I don't care. Like, I think this is funny, but security might have an issue with you just going on stage in your underwear. And I was like, what? I was like, wow, what are you even talking about, dude? Yeah. And so I was just like, whatever, we'll deal with it when it happens. And then right as I'm about to go up, the song before me is about to end. This fucking like 40-year-old dude who'd been singing all night and just doing trashy covers.
If I might say, reminded me a lot of Fat Mike. If you catch my
oh my god, dude!
Fucking,
he wishes he was Fat
I
Mike.
mean, listen, this guy was fat, stupid Paul. I don't know who this guy was, but he was not cool. He was one of these guys who's like, I'm gonna pay $100 to sing a song and hope that girls see me and are like, he has $100.
This was guy who got inheritance money or was hit by a city bus, and now he's divorced, and he's just like, I'm gonna sing a Paramore song, in hopes that a dumb hot girl who used to be in the scene, a scene chick, and it wasn't working, so he kept buying songs all night, and he did it right before I was about to go up. He bought one, and so it bought security more time. To be like, what the fuck?
Just to see, I think the owner was in the floor above us looking down.
Oh, was the owner?
I think that it was like that's what I remember is that like there were like, it's like all the people were down here and the owners were like, I don't know, fucking jerking off, drinking, watching people.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a weird situation, but then they were just like, yo, what is this guy doing? They're like, get this guy out of here.
Yeah, and that only fed into this delusion that this was this thing I had to do, because it literally was like, I'm drunk, I'm like high, whatever, I'm on coke. And I got the adrenaline pumping, and then I just see like security guards, like it's like I'm in a presidential like motorcade. They're like, that guy right there, like talking to a guy across the room, like over here, him, and I'm just seeing them like communicate with each other. And one of them looks at me directly and goes, he just like shakes his head, or like he's like, don't do it. He does, and I just flip him off. And there's video of this. I just go, fuck you.
That probably didn't help.
No. And then they all come down and they're just like pushing me out, and they literally just get in front of me. And I think one of them puts his hands on me. I go, don't fucking touch me. And then he like actually comes in, and I go, all right, okay. Yeah, you know what? Fuck this place anyways. I don't want to be a part of your machine, man. You know, I like tried to play it off like I was cool, but I didn't want to get hit, you know? And they kicked me out to the street in my underwear, and I was just standing on the New Orleans street.
I remember the crazy thing was how angry you were.
Yeah.
Because it was like a righteous anger. It was like whenever Jon Stewart goes to Congress and is like fighting for 9/11 veterans, you were like, oh, are you really doing this? Are you really?
Sir.
Are you in this country? You're really gonna act like this?
Yeah. This is Andrew Murphy, March 9th, 11 p.m. I am being detained against my will. Yeah, like, how dare you take away my right to do something that no one's ever thought of until just now for good reason. And that was how and then, you know, I proceeded to get drunker throughout the night. I think I ended up crying at a strip club or something. And that's like one of those things where you're like, I'm not proud of it. I'm just like, you wake up the next day like, dude, come on.
Yeah,
like, what are you doing?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
I was just sitting at the strip club bar like, oh man.
What was the emotion?
I don't know.
Just drunk?
I was like the girl you see on 6th Street sitting at the curb like holding her heels.
Right.
And her friends are like, what's wrong? And she's like, I don't know, Kevin or whatever.
I Blink 182.
Yeah.
And I was a kid.
I've never related with one of them more. I was just like, I don't know, man. And I was just like, and then the way Hunter tells it is like, as soon as we left the strip club, I was like, pretty fun night.
I mean,
it never happened.
That sounds like you. Like, yeah, man.
It's like, that was crazy.
Fucking, yeah.
He's like, what?
Not bad.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Shooter's going to shoot. Like, stop saying that. Stop. You don't know what that expression means.
Oh, man.
I don't know how we got to this, but yeah.
I don't know either. But
that's like that's one of those nights you look at. It's a tentpole night for like, maybe don't drink every night and maybe take some time off. Sometimes you can just have 5 drinks. It's
okay.
And you still feel kind of good. Yeah. And then you wake up the next morning like, oh, it was a good time.
1.5.
1.5 drinks?
It's the perfect amount of drinks.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's like that feels like nothing.
It's not a lot, but that's all you need. Everything after that is just
gratuitous.
Is just not gratuitous. It's just you're not gonna reach that feel good.
Yeah.
Of like, I'm a little loose. I'm not feeling overly. I'm feeling it, but I'm not feeling overly this way.
Right.
And then once you get past that drink and a half, once you hit 2, it's like, let me just do 3.
Yeah.
3. Let me do 5. 5. I mean, that's when it goes on from there. 1.5.
I can't just do 9. I'm this close to double digits.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's the thing that's interesting too about drinking is that feeling like the two sides of the same coin. There's two sides of the same coin where it's like you're either killing it, you're crushing it, you're funny, everyone's laughing at your shit, or you're just completely spiraling.
Yeah.
But they come from the same place, which is you not really having control over yourself. Like, like that confidence game of just owning the room and you're making everyone laugh and stuff. That, you convince yourself that that's the alcohol, but it's,
You like Malcolm Gladwell?
I don't know a lot of his stuff, but I saw him once I was at a bar in Austin. Hotel San Jose or something, and he was there.
There?
Yeah, he was just like the table over. He was like,
how do you know it was him? I mean, if you don't know his books, how are you like?
I know who he is.
You know what I mean? If you've never read a book, you're like, oh my god, is that Malcolm Gladwell?
Yeah.
Why would I know?
He was wearing a shirt with his name on it,
with his face,
and he said, "I'm with Malcolm," and he was pointing up at his chin. No, he looked like him. I knew it was him.
He told this story. I think it was in one of his books where it was like, if you go to 6th Street, if you go to fucking anywhere in Bourbon Street, you're going to see people acting a fool, acting a mess, getting in all this trouble, vomiting, all these things. And then he goes to some fucking Peruvian village where they have this alcohol. It's like it's very, very, it's 90 proof alcohol. It's very intense. And what they do is they have this evening thing where everyone comes together and it's like, there's one bottle and there's like one cup, and it's like you pour the drink and then you walk across and you give it to somebody, and then they drink it and then they do the same, and you just keep doing that, and slowly over the night everyone gets fucking obliterated, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they do that every night or every few nights of the week or so, but it never gets crazy. It's always respectful. It's always chill. They're always just there to have a good time. No one gets, I don't fucking like you, fucking it. And it never gets that. It's just they just do that, and he talks about. He's like, what does alcohol actually do to you? And he was like, the conclusion was it heightens whatever you're already doing.
Yeah.
So if you're fucking fat chilling and you're drinking with friends, you're just going to get more and drinking and chilling with friends.
Right.
If you're out partying, living it up, you're just going to keep on partying, and it's going to get out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, which is why
you start drinking, you get in an argument, that argument's going to fucking...
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, if you even entertain it. You're going down a really bad rabbit hole there. And I mean, that's true too. It's like, that's why you can't use booze as like an excuse really. Because some people do that. They're like, I was drunk. And I get it. Like I fucked up and when I was drunk and I had to apologize and there's forgiveness there and everything. But like ultimately, like you're just doing a thing that you were already feeling and you didn't deal with it in a healthier way.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with it by just chugging this delicious poison.
Yeah.
That's
Now I remember you and social media. That's what I want to ask you about.
Oh, yeah.
What's your relationship with social media?
Oh man, bad. But also that's like part of the drinking didn't help either. But it was just
really
like,
were you staying and
I was
drinking?
drinking, and then for a while I just had it was like every week I'd have like one Facebook post that where I try and break the internet.
So I'm not really on Facebook like that, but when I would see Andrew's hot takes, I'd be like, fucking Andrew's hot takes. Here we go.
It became like a weekly thing.
Yeah, dude.
Like, what's he gonna say this time? And I'm like, I don't think nurseries should exist. They're like, whoa, that's crazy. No, but like I would just go off on something that was pissing me off, and sometimes it was justified, and there's even a couple posts that I think people were like, I'm glad you said that, and like, obviously.
I mean, they nurseries shouldn't exist. It's
like
build babies need to get a job.
They need to fucking learn how to drive and deliver me food on the apps. But like, yeah, I was just, I had to stop posting. I have to like force myself to not post opinions anymore. Like I've just kind of cut myself off from that completely now.
That's so fast. Why? How did you start using social media as this outlet? And what are you even trying to get out?
I don't know, man. I was substituting social media for like, I don't know. It's hacky to say. I'm sorry. It's hacky to say therapy, but like I was kind of using it for like therapeutic purposes where I had a lot on my mind, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put this out there.
Yeah.
And maybe if someone else is feeling the same way, they can give me a like or something.
What would Michael Jordan do? He would say that he would take that shit to the rim. Facebook.
He'd have one glass of tequila that somehow was at different levels every time. I'm going to do that. And I was posting things, and I think where it finally peaked and I was like, this is a problem I need to actually focus on. It's going to sound crazy. The Will Smith, Chris Rock slap incident broke my brain. And like, it really, I don't remember the last time I was like that angry about something that had nothing to do with it.
Was that the one where I mean, I'm sure you said your piece about it like everyone else did.
Yeah.
And then I remember there was one where like on Instagram, you were like, hey, I'm taking a break from this social media thing.
Yeah.
I'm out, y'all. And I'm like, was that for the fucking Will Smith thing? Like, it seemed like your take was similar as everyone else's.
Oh, I don't know.
What was the take?
But here's the thing is then I was like subtly taking shots at people who I saw posting in defense of Will Smith and stuff. Right. And it was just like, and some of them were like friends of mine who I could have just gone to them directly and been like, why? That's weird that you have this opinion. Mm-hmm. And ultimately they can, even if they went, who cares? I don't want to talk about this. It's stupid. They weren't wrong. It was a celebrity and another celebrity.
Sure, yeah.
I guess just at the time there was just this weird feeling of like, shouldn't we all be on the same page that what Will Smith did was really fucking weird and not okay? And then there's people who just were like, well, he was defending, and I don't agree with anyone defending him, but also it didn't matter. But there's just this thing where like, as soon as I went on Twitter, because I was taking a break from Twitter for that reason, because opinions were pissing me off and they were all just building in my head. I was building this fake enemy, and I was like, I'm going to go back on Twitter because I feel like Twitter's probably got some fun stuff going on about this. And just, boy, was that a bad idea. Because
man, what a beautiful moment this year.
And it should just be looked at as like a crazy incident.
Yeah.
That was like, we were all blessed to be able to see.
I mean, just like the Michael Jordan fan you are, you took that shit personally.
I took it personally.
You took it personally.
I wanted to defend Chris Rock as a comedian and totally forgot that he's also a millionaire and does not need me to defend him. But also, like, I don't know. I was annoyed at people not just all being on the same page about something. And I decided to combat that by doing the same thing that they were doing.
Right.
And then it just became this snake eating its own tail, and I started to slowly lose my mind. And I was like, I posted this thing on Facebook, like 3 paragraphs of just like, this is fucking crazy that not everyone is on the same page that Will Smith is a psycho. And then I saw people on Twitter being like, I can't believe people are writing paragraphs about this shit. And it's like, it's funny because it was like a comic that I don't even know or something.
So they didn't have any connection to you.
There was maybe 1 or 2 that I knew, but like I knew they weren't just talking about me.
Right. But you were in that group.
But I couldn't get in that mindset.
Sure.
I just took it so personally. I genuinely did Michael Jordan myself into like, they're talking about me. And then I deleted the post on Facebook and I put up another one that was like, man, I guess I'll delete it because a lot of these motherfuckers think I can't.
So because of the thing you saw on Twitter that probably wasn't about you, you erased the thing on Facebook.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even anyone in the comments.
Yeah. And it was just turning into this. It was my entire day. This was a day off.
It sounds like it was really consuming
I was
you.
literally in my apartment just pacing around, just like it was the Situation Room or something.
It's like, did you see this Chris Rock, Will Smith, and Andrew Murphy situation that's been going on?
Yeah, right. I was like, all of a sudden I'm a pawn in this whole thing. And I took 5 seconds to look at it from an outside perspective. I was like, this sucks. And you know what? Ultimately, it's something I need to work on. It's a deeper anger issue. I don't want to scapegoat Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Because there's ways to use all of those devices in a healthy, completely harmless way.
Yeah.
But I also knew that it's like drinking. Like sometimes you got to take away the source. You got to take away the source of all the bullshit, get away from it. And then
what is the anger thing?
I just I get angry about stuff, you know?
Like in a Bill Burr, like fucking the fucking envelope won't open.
Yeah. It's just like a general, I think within me, there's like a general spark of anger that I can just ignore a lot of the time, but it's kind of always there. And maybe that's just true of everyone. Like, you know, there's always going to...
No, I'm pretty happy fella.
Do I sound insane?
No, you don't sound insane. It's just, I get mad about shit. I think I get mad about specific things. Yeah. And it's usually like interpersonal, like, hey, you shouldn't have did that shit kind of thing. Right. But like, you know, on Will Smith, Chris Rock, I don't mind. But I wouldn't say I have a flame in me that I can light up at any moment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I'm feeling that less and less and less every day because I'm trying to live my life taking away the things that cause that seed to be planted in the first place, and they just feed into each other. You know what I mean? Like the social media feeds into the drinking feeds into the me posting something crazy and controversial on social media. Even the times where I've posted something that I kept up and I was proud of, I still have a tinge of regret looking back because it created drama and then it alienates people. And it's like, I don't want to ever be someone who doesn't express himself, but also like, what's
the value of expressing yourself in that forum? And I mean, why I've always had a struggling with social media. I've always struggled with it because it seems so look at me, which that's just what it is look at me. And then it just seems so like it's so simple for anyone to come in and just be like, you know, actually, you know, and it just like taking my thing and making it something else. And that seems so problematic. I mean, that's why I'm doing the podcast, because it's like, listen, even if you take something out of context, you can easily go see the whole context, number one. And then that's why I like stand-up, because even if you don't agree or I'm saying something fucked up, ideally it's funny. And then that's the point, is that it's funny, you know? So like, I get that whole, like, even if you post something that you believe in, but then people don't like it, it's like, I don't want to live a life ruffling people's feathers all the time. That's not really what I want to do. So I get that.
That's what it is. And also, life doesn't work in absolutes ever. So like, I can be really pissed off about this one specific person or this one specific thing, but maybe I have a friend who got successful as indirect results of the thing I'm talking about. You know what I mean? For example, there was a comic who in one of these posts I called out, and I think it was justified to be angry at this person and to call them out. Like, I actually do think
in the Chris Rock, Will Smith debacle?
No. This is a completely different thing. And it was actually I had some personal stake in it because it was, you know, comic in Austin. I'm not going to say who it is because I just don't want to
Fat Mike.
dig it. It was Fat Mike and the boys. But
in the boys.
The boys were really pissing me off. No, but like, I called him out and I was just like, I'm not going to do a show if this fucking guy's on it. If he's there, I'm fucking going. I don't want to we don't have to function in this industry with people like this, you know? And I said it in much more drunken, ranty terms. But there were a lot of people who came up to me like, I'm glad you said that.
Right.
Like, I'm glad you said that. People should be like thinking about this more and actually being considerate. But then there's also people who got really cool opportunities because of that guy. Doesn't excuse that guy.
Right.
But then I think about them and I'm like, do they now feel like I had this rift with Murphy because the answer is probably no. But even if there is even just an inkling of that, I feel bad about that because I'm like, well, I want you to be successful, and ultimately you got to do what you got to do. So I don't know. Yeah, the idea of the feeling of ruffling people's.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. The feeling of ruffling people's feathers, like you're saying, like it kind of sucks. It's just like
what's the value in it? I mean,
yeah.
It's sort of what we've been talking about the whole time of like, what's the value in fucking grind culture no matter what? Right. Hey, fucking tell it like it is. Yeah. If it's when keeping it real goes wrong. It's like it's just like there's always this downside to this thing that is sort of pushed out in the culture as like a good thing.
And sometimes you should do it. I don't think you should ever live your life never standing up for what you believe in. But when you do it all the time, it starts to lose meaning. Yeah. And it just gets messy. I just felt like my life was messy all the time because I was constantly like, oh, I had to say this. I had to say that. I had to put my foot down on this. And, the last post hasn't even stopped getting comments. I'm already on to the next thing, I had to just pull away from it.
Well, because, the podcast about growth.
Yeah.
All right. And growing. And it sounds like there's been this pattern of like this anger flame igniting in moments that you don't want. Is that something, would you say that that's something like you're working on, that you're struggling with, that you're blank, blank, blank?
Yeah, I'm definitely working on it. And also, I think it sounds very simple, but when you look at why I just have to look at why I get angry and what starts it and then go, okay, how can I take that out of my life in a way that's not going to just deprive me of joy.
Right. What is it? Alcohol?
Like excessive drinking, excessive social media exposure. Like I got off Twitter because I just decided. I think Twitter's great when it's used well, and there's people who kill it on there, and I've discovered some cool stuff. But ultimately, I cannot go on Twitter without getting angry. I just can't.
It's very similar to alcohol.
Right.
We all know it's bad for us, but we all do it anyway. Yeah. And you do it too much, and it starts to fucking fuck up your life.
Yeah. And the returns get less and less.
Is the flame anger? Is that the small flame anger? Is that been consistent throughout your life?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And
what's the time when you were like a little Andrew, fucking like, no man, I'm doing that. I ain't putting my blocks away. Like what?
Yeah.
Is there anything like that?
I did a school shooting. No, yeah. I didn't want to get into it, but yeah, I just. What happened was Kanye interrupted Taylor, and everyone was like, one of my buddies was like, I think he had a good point, and I just.
That was it.
Next thing I know, I'm in handcuffs. That's a dark joke, but yeah, no, I don't even know. As a kid, it was like, oh, my brother got 2 more presents than me on Christmas, and just shit like that, just petty bullshit. But then I think about as an adult, some of the stuff I get mad at. I'm like, it's not that different than when I was a kid. Like it's so meaningless. So, damn. So, but yeah, I think I'm in a good place right now. As it might not sound like it because I'm over here like, word vomit, but like, I do think like it's as simple as you look at what the source of the negative feelings and the negative behavior is, and you just see what it's like to live without that. Just give it a fucking try. And it's scary at first, but I'm like 4 weeks in. I haven't had a sip of alcohol, and it just feels normal at this point. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I think I will drink again at some point, and it'll be fun, but hopefully now I know, like, hey, bro, you can not do that for long periods of time. You'll be fine. You'll survive.
Yeah, probably better.
Yeah. You don't have to be on Twitter all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anywho, hope that helps someone.
I remember in Amsterdam when felt like I was drinking too much.
Yeah.
They had at the the theater that I worked at, they had just non-alcoholic beer. It's the perfect solution.
Yeah.
It was. I got a big ass, tall ass, more than a liter, I guess, of non-alcoholic beer. I would drink it after the show, so it satisfied that ritual.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It was fucking idea. And then I came back to the States and I'm like, hey, do you have any non-alcoholic beer? And they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, all right, I guess it's Texas again.
No, it never. It doesn't have to be like. That's a great point too. It never has to be like this all or nothing thing. You can trick yourself. Go ahead, trick yourself. Trick yourself into thinking you're doing the thing that was bad for you. If that's what's going to help you get healthier. And when I feel like when you stop doing something, you give up a vice that you really enjoy doing. What happens is like these new things, these new habits form that you're like, oh, I never knew this could be fun. Like when I wake up now, I wake up in the morning, I just fucking wake up. My alarm goes off and I'm like, time to get up. I know this sounds
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Sounds like I'm describing just the basic, functions of life. But like,
bro, I went and took a shit. It was not all liquid. Isn't that crazy? Like it wasn't just the liquid that I drank the night before pouring through me.
It didn't look like I miscarried a street taco. It looked like just a normal bowel movement. Yeah. Like, because that's the thing, though. I know I'm talking about waking up in the morning like it's this new science I've discovered. But when you're drinking every night, it is like waking up is a catastrophe. Yeah. Like you hit snooze 1,900 times. Yeah. You're late to everything. I never have time to make a breakfast. I just grab whatever. I grab like a half-opened bag of corn nuts or something, and that's breakfast. And I just am in a frenzy. Yeah. And like now I'm, that's the thing. I gave up a vice, and then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I love waking up. Yeah. Giving myself an hour, making a big fat stupid breakfast. Yeah. A Fat Mike special. You know what I mean? Eggs, bacon, Pop-Tart. Just Yeah. And I'm just like, that's replaced the thing.
Just that fucking grown man shit. Yeah. Do you think there's something about you or your personality or just some people where it's like you have to you grow up with bacon and eggs every morning, and you're like, that shit's fucking boring. You know what's cool? A fucking shot every morning. Hey, and then you do that for years, and then you're like, this is killing me. I gotta stop.
That's huge.
And then you go back and you're like, bacon and eggs, man. My parents were on to something.
Maybe they weren't praying for my downfall by giving me a hearty breakfast and not feeding me alcohol. Yeah. I think there's something to that.
Some people gotta learn through trial by fire.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, by firing a weapon into the school. Was how I learned the hard way. I love the idea of a rehabilitated school shooter. It's just like, that is behind me.
Listen, that was a different me. I'm not that person anymore.
Right.
And those kids aren't around anymore. So it's like,
I'm in touch with the families. We're cool. I'm golfing with one of them
tomorrow. It's, I'm like, I kind of replaced their son.
Right.
Like I go to them.
Treating a school shooting like the same way you treat like a drunken best man speech that ruffled some feathers. Like, you know what? We apologize. We talked it out, hugged it out.
It's all good now, man. Yeah.
But on a serious note, gun control.
Yes, that's why I brought you on. Let's get on it. That's why I brought you on. Gun control. We got to control these guns.
It's bad.
Got to control. It's bad.
The gun control's not bad. Guns are bad.
Guns are bad.
Yeah.
Guns are bad.
Fix it.
Well, hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, good for you.
Thanks, bud.
I'm glad you're drinking less, and I hope I know you're gonna turn up soon. So
I'll give it 2 weeks. I'll be right back.
At least you do that. At least you have that. I'm trying to think if I got anything like if I've tried to stop doing something. I've never been a stopper. I've been like I think I'm real passive. I'm real like, I just want to like sit and do nothing. Or what I have been doing is like I put a lot of pressure on myself to do this and do and like I need to be doing this and doing that and like pulling back from that. Oh, that's been great.
Great. Yeah.
That's been great. Just like, hey, you don't gotta be doing all this shit. You don't have to huge. You don't have to have the whole thing all at once. You can you can take steps to get to it. Yeah. And just because you're at step 2 doesn't mean like, oh fuck it, I'm a piece of shit because I'm not at step 50. Yeah. And it's like, just like take
Talk to someone who's not trying to do the thing you're doing. Like, that's what I've discovered. Like, Because when I gave up comedy, like, it was the first time in my life, not, just for a few months, it was the first time in my life where I was like, oh, you can just do this? And it's because I think I talked to my ex at the time, or a friend of mine or something, or a collection of people, and I was just like, I'm so tired. I'm going out to these mics every night, and then I got to go to work. And then someone was just like, just don't do the mics. I'm like, you don't get it. I got to do the mics. They're like, no, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You're a fucking adult. You work. You have a job. Life is hard enough as it is. Give up that pressure to always have to be proving yourself to yourself.
Yeah.
So
talk
to someone who doesn't do the thing you do, and look at how they look at you, like you're a crazy person.
Yeah.
And then try and see it from their point of view, and treat yourself.
Because my girl, because she does that.
Yeah.
Because I think having that is, she's like, yeah, you can. She encourages me, like, well, what do you think would be good for you? Because I'm like, oh, there's this thing I feel like I should go out, and she's like, well, what do you think would be good for you, going or not going? And I'm like, I don't really got anything to talk about at the mic.
Yeah.
And she's like, all right, well then just fucking stay here with me and hang out.
That is like
I'm like,
the kind of thing.
Yeah, that is better. Because whenever you're alone, there's no reason to stay here. Yeah. You really have to force yourself to sit at home. But if there's a pretty girl that can watch TV with you, then it's like, well,
that is one of the benefits of having a girlfriend that cannot be replicated any other way. And like, it is like girlfriends can kind of give you that perspective in a way no one else can, when they're just like, you seem like really like not happy right now, and it's because of this thing. So just stop doing that thing because you don't have to.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you, a fucking scientist over here? Like, he's like, it's the most simple concept ever. But sometimes you need someone in your circle to be like, just chill out, dude.
Yeah. What do you think? Back to the premise. What do you think? What do you think other people could do if you could prescribe someone, like, yo, if everyone did this shit, then like the world would be better. You know what I mean? Like, if everyone worked on their anger, if everyone blah blah blah, what would be the thing? Like, yo, you know what y'all need to do? What's the pattern that you see?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to like ever try and apply this to like people in general, because like this is just what works for me, But like, I feel like it all goes back. The first thing I ever gave up, that was like a substantial thing I gave up, I was like proud of myself for doing it. It was kind of hard, but I felt better in the end, was smoking, Mm-hmm. And once I did that, everything since has kind of like, I always looked to smoking as like the patient zero of this method of just like, don't think about, when you quit something, don't think about the things you're giving up. Think about the new things you're going to gain. And just know that you're replacing one gold token with a different gold token. Like, all right, yeah, you're giving up drinking. You might not have as many nights where you feel like you're on top of the world and like you're creating these insane memories and your 4 years shooting out your ears or whatever. But you're replacing that with feeling healthy all the time, having like a better sense of well-being, feeling more rested, feeling more physically capable. So it's like, that also feels great. And people will want to hang out with you. It's like, it's the same as drinking. And like, people are going to be like, wow, you seem healthy and like chipper, So like, don't think about what you're giving up. Don't think about it as giving up at all. Think of it as like, oh, I'm going to gain this. If I stick with this, I'm going to gain this new thing. And it's going to be even more exciting because it's new. It's like a new thing you haven't experienced. So that's the way I think of it. So if you're watching,
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like that. It's like, hey, if you don't like what you're doing,
right,
and you're like, oh, you can change the thing. I also look at things that way, where it's like, you can keep doing the thing that you're gonna do it, where it's also exciting to do the new thing. It's exciting, even if it's the boring thing. Like,
right,
you go out every night doing. I'm like, stay at home, see what happens. Right. I know it's like whenever with dating, where it's like, sometimes you got the thing you need to say, but you're like, I don't know if I should say it. It's like, but what's gonna happen if you say it?
Yeah,
it's like, you don't know. She could say fucking anything. She could stay. She could fucking leave, and that's the fear. But if you turn it and you're like, no, that's the exciting thing. The most exciting thing is to say the thing. The most exciting thing is to not drink and see if you can do it. Yeah. And like, if you look at it that way, I vibe with that.
And it's also, that's why the hardest part of quitting anything, a vice or whatever, is like the first 5 days or the first week or whatever. That first initial period, because you're not really seeing the results yet.
Right.
And you feel like you're being deprived of the thing. So if you can tough it through that though, I quit smoking because I read this book called The Easy Way to Stop Smoking. It's kind of a popular book amongst like.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to read it. So tell me what it is.
It's basically like I read it, and as soon as I was done, it's a thin book.
Yeah,
it's like 200 pages.
Again, not gonna read it. What's
I'm saying though, like that's why I read it. It was such a simple concept. It was just this guy who used to be a smoker, and he's like, you don't smoke because you like it anymore. You smoke because you feel like you have to, and you're not. Like the cigarette's not doing anything for you. It's just relieving the stress that it caused in the first place. Like it creates this dependency. And then as soon as you don't have it with you, it creates that dependency again. It's like creating a problem for you and then also pretending it's the solution. So he's like, just get rid of the problem and you won't need the solution. And I remember one thing stuck out to me, and it's the reason I stopped smoking. This passage where he goes, if you could just take a time machine, like right now, if you're still feeling hesitant about quitting, if you could take a time machine right now to 3 weeks in the future, the immediate change you'd feel because you quit smoking like right now, you'd be like blown away.
Yeah.
And it's like, I thought of that and I was like, damn, all right, fucking 3 weeks. All of a sudden it felt kind of easy. I'm like, 3 weeks? I can do 3 weeks. Yeah, it might suck for a few days. And then... So if you think of it that way and don't be so like overwhelmed with the concept of time in relation to like what you're trying to do, it helps too. But I could be full of shit.
No.
I feel like I'm like coming at you like I have my shit. I also don't have my shit.
Here's the thing though. I started this off by being like, I read a book, and you're like, yeah, I don't really do that. I just kind of do what feels right, bro. And then it's like comes right back to you're like, but
as I was saying that, the book I'm talking about popped in my brain like
way back earlier.
Yeah, and I was like, don't even whatever. That's literally the one exception. Yeah. So but also like books help, so read a book if it helps.
Yeah, sure, do it, man. Well, I'm tired and it's late, so let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
But you've been a great guest. Thanks you so much. But last question I always ask, it's part of it is advice on how to like beat you, because that's the premise of the podcast again. Talking about growth in life so I can beat you at your own game. So, I mean, take that for what it will, but what's a piece of advice for me, for the people? I mean, you've been giving advice to the people. What's a piece of advice for your friend
lock
Tyler?
me in a room with nothing but my favorite vodka and a selection of seltzers, and then just an entire projector screen of Twitter, Instagram, Facebook filtering in and out. And then every once in a while, cut it with like the Will Smith slap. Yeah. Just throw that up there. Boy, I'll come out. You'll beat me in no time. I'll be a shell of a man.
The advice is just all the things I'm stopping.
Yeah. Put some cigarettes in there too. Just toss a pack in like a prison,
Twitter.
Just
keep my fucking wife's all of that.
Yeah. Throw in a picture of like an ex from like 10 years ago with her. It's just bad memories.
She's happy now.
Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah. Bad memories and stuff. Yeah, childhood shit.
Hell yeah.
That's how you can really take me down.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll go talk to your mom and see exactly how to do that. You all right. Well, appreciate you. You got anything to plug? Anything to talk
about? Follow me. _Murphy on Instagram. I post all my shows there and stuff. So.
Post all the shows. He's very funny.
Thanks, man.
You got any? How often are you hosting FPIA?
I'm hosting Cap City, the FPIA nights. They're like Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday of every week. I'm hosting a bunch of those, so just go see those. I host a show called Joke of Painting, second Friday of every month at the Velveeta Room. I host a show called Hot Take Olympics, fourth Friday of every month at Hotel Vegas.
That's what's up.
I got a podcast coming out.
Do you?
With Danny Goodwin and Ashley Sharma. It's called Scumber Party.
Ashley Sharma's been on here.
Hell yeah.
So we know her.
And so that's going to be, we're going to film that.
Scumber Party?
Scumber Party.
What's
it's
that
like
about?
We try and emulate a slumber party by one person every episode recommends a movie, one person makes a snack, and then one person tells a scary story.
I like it. Why Scumber? Oh, because y'all are scum?
We're scumbags. We're working on the title. Yeah, but check that out.
Have you recorded any?
We're recording in 2 days, and we'll hopefully have 2 fresh episodes for you in like a couple weeks, a week or so. So
I'm a listen.
Yeah.
You should too. Well, thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you.
This was fun.
Always good talking to you.
Yeah.